Self-responsibility story. Rosalie was excited to see her old friend Gloria. They hadn't spent time together for ages, and she was looking forward to introducing Gloria to her new boyfriend Fletcher. Gloria was arriving on Thursday for a week, and Rosalie was busy making plans. She told Fletcher how much they loved going to the beach when they were younger, so that was on her list. She also explained they could lose hours shopping together and laughed as she informed him not to send a search party because they always made it home eventually. Rosalie made a booking at her favourite restaurant and had organised a barbecue for the weekend so both could catch up with old friends. Her excitement was tangible. Fletcher hadn't officially moved in, but he had stated on several occasions he couldn't bear to be separated from Rosalie, so he started coming straight from work to her place. She had never been to his home. He had implied it was too messy for company. It had been a whirlwind month, and Rosalie felt so ecstatic. She had been in a romantic bubble and was thrilled that Fletcher was about to meet her closest friend. The barbecue was her way of introducing Fletcher to some of her friends and family. "You'll love them," Rosalie proclaimed. "They are all looking forward to meeting you." Rosalie had taken a week off work and Gloria arrived Thursday afternoon. They spent the afternoon catching up on each other's lives. Rosalie kept singing the praises of her new beau and struggled to contain her enthusiasm. "Here's the one, my soulmate," she gleefully announced at the end of every statement. Gloria giggled each time Rosalie said it, and with a big smile would reply, "I am so happy for you." They started to prepare dinner. Rosalie became visibly anxious, and Gloria asked, "What's wrong?" Rosalie nervously replied, "He's always here by 6 o'clock. I hope he hasn't had an accident. No one would know to contact me. I haven't met any of his friends or family. They mightn't even know I'm his girlfriend." By 7 o'clock, Rosalie was beginning to pace and was visibly distressed. Gloria suggested ringing him. Rosalie replied, "I have, several times, no answer. What should I do? He rings or texts me constantly throughout the day. I've been so busy that I hadn't noticed he hasn't today. What if he had an accident this morning? How will I know?" At 9 o'clock, Rosalie's phone rang. She frantically answered it with, "Are you okay? I've been worried sick. Where are you?" "Home. You didn't invite me over," replied Fletcher. Rosalie was shocked. "Oh, I just presumed you'd be here. We talked about having dinner with Gloria here tonight." "Why would you presume? I'm still a guest at your place. I was trying to do the right thing by you. I didn't want to disturb you and your friend. It's okay. I realise I'm not your first priority." "I don't really know where I stand in this relationship," retorted Fletcher. Rosalie began to explain how important he was in her life and she hoped they would have a future together. Fletcher replied, "Did you just ask me to move in?" Rosalie sat for a second, looking perplexed, and with a gust of enthusiasm proclaimed, "No, but why not? Let's move in together." With the same enthusiasm, Fletcher announced, "I'll start bringing my stuff over tomorrow while you two are at the beach." Rosalie turned to Gloria and asked, "Are you happy to go to the beach tomorrow?" Gloria overheard the conversation and one eyebrow began to involuntarily rise as she nodded yes. Gloria felt an uneasiness wash over her as she watched her friend finish her phone call. The next afternoon, as they arrived back from the beach, they were confronted with a removalist truck. As they walked down the driveway, Rosalie noticed her lounge on the truck. She distressingly asked the removalist why her lounge was in there. He replied, "I bought it off the man moving in. The rest went to the charity guys." "What is happening?" said bewildered Rosalie, staring blankly at Gloria. "I'll wait here and give you a minute to talk to Fletcher," said Gloria. 15 minutes later, Rosalie returned, announcing everything is fine. "I just have to get used to sharing my place with Fletcher, and he wanted it to be our home, not just move into mine. So he picked the best of what we had and got rid of the rest. Isn't he wonderful? He gave it all to charity." "He should have asked you first. When did he organise the removalist truck?" "How well do you know him?" inquired Gloria. "He's the one, my soulmate," snapped Rosalie. "He said others wouldn't understand our bond." Gloria's stomach churned. For the rest of the week, there was countless incidents of Fletcher going out of his way to disrupt Rosalie's plans. He hardly spoke to anyone at the barbecue, moodily sat in view and stared at Rosalie. She told everyone quietly that Fletcher was extremely shy and to give him time to relax. He was late to the restaurant, constantly complaining about the food and service. He constantly belittled the waiter and Rosalie for booking such a place. Rosalie started agreeing with him and profusely apologised for her poor judgement. He rang constantly while they were out shopping, and Rosalie eventually ushered them home, citing she felt unwell. Gloria struggled with the way Rosalie would make excuses for him. She had become irritated every time she heard Fletcher was her soulmate, and dumbfounded by her submissive behaviour. It was the last day of her visit, and Gloria had had enough of Fletcher and feared for her friend. While they were having lunch before she caught the train, she could no longer contain her point of view. "Rosalie, I want to be honest with you. Fletcher isn't a nice person. He's condescending and overbearing. He is not shy, he is conniving. He's using you, controlling you. I'm worried about you. He told me you are jealous of our bond. We are soulmates, and he said you'd try to ruin it for me. He said I couldn't see it because we grew up together." "You have always told me what to think," exclaimed Rosalie as she stood up. "Find your own way to the train station. You have my suitcase in your car," mumbled Gloria as she followed Rosalie. "I never meant to hurt you, but it scares me what this relationship is doing to you. We have never fought or been jealous of each other. We have always been best friends. I love you, and I am telling you I am scared. Get in, I'll drop you off." Silently they headed for the train station. As they arrived, Rosalie defiantly announced, "He warned me about you. Please don't contact me anymore. I have to embrace my new life." "Sounds like he's speaking for you already," Gloria said as she got out of the car. She mouthed, "I love you, friend." 20 years later, Rosalie, now a mother of 2 teenage daughters, called Gloria. "I owe you an apology. I spent 18 years making excuses for his behaviour. I felt like a shell of a person, taught myself to not only ignore my opinion, but to not have one. I have forgotten what it is like to laugh, to relax, and how to be excited about anything. He started training me to be submissive on the first date, but I refused to acknowledge his behaviour. I wanted the fairy tale. I wanted him to be my soulmate. I gave up everything and everyone. I have no friends and I am estranged from my family. I kept forgiving him for everything he did or said, constantly hitting the imaginary reset button. He never admitted to anything and refused to take responsibility for his behaviour. Over the years, his obnoxiousness accelerated. He made me believe I was insane when I questioned him. Everything I did was wrong. I started to believe I was the problem early on and eventually became completely indifferent towards myself. I didn't care anymore. There was nothing left of me to hurt. At the beginning of the relationship, I spent my time trying to please him. I agreed with everything he said to create harmony. I wanted to believe in him and ignored his actions. Later on, I just agreed with him in an attempt to avoid his put-downs or emotional outbursts. I never found out how to avoid them. Everything was always my fault, and for a long time I believed him. Rosalie announced, hardly drawing a breath. "Are you okay?" questioned Gloria. "I have 2 beautiful daughters who fear him. A couple of years ago, my eldest daughter said, 'Dad isn't a nice person. He's condescending and overbearing. He's conniving and constantly plays mind games. He's using you and controls you, and I'm worried about you. You keep making excuses for him, trying to hide who he is, but you can't.' As you know, I've heard that before." Rosalie continued as she fought back her tears. "I left him a week later and have spent 2 years learning how to recover from my marriage. I had to take responsibility for me. I lost my ability to be honest with myself and became unwilling to acknowledge my reality. I know I was tricked and fooled, but I know that I need to get honest so I can recover. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry about how I treated you." "Rosalie, when are you and your daughters coming for a visit? I live near a beach and a shopping mall," cheered Gloria. Rosalie laughed. "Some things never change. Please visit. I miss my best friend." But I knew she would find her way back. Our relationships with each other are complex, and it is surprising how quickly they can change. What we believe they are and the reality of them can differ. Our wants and desires create separation between what is real and what we hope for. We use denial, avoidance, and excuses to ignore reality. To uphold these, we have to forego valuing truth, which chips away at our willingness to take self-responsibility and accountability for the decisions we make. Rosalie is the victim of an abusive relationship and did not intentionally lack self-responsibility. She shifted her mindset because she wanted to be loved by the man she thought Fletcher was and ignored the red flags. She took on responsibility for keeping him content, an impossible task, and unwittingly became trapped in his web of deceit. She became blinded by her desire for a soulmate, and he became her priority while devaluing her own emotional and spiritual well-being. This happened so quickly for her that she didn't realise what was truly occurring. She originally believed in her partner and wanted to continue to do so, even when there was undeniable evidence that he was not who she wanted him to be. He knew exactly how to make her doubt herself. He told her what she wanted to hear and set himself up as the prize she was looking for, the prince in her fairy tale. He also knew how to undermine and destroy her other relationships, isolating her. Rosalie was blinded by the false promises and the original excitement. She believed they could return to those days and clung to this desire. Her daughter's honesty became the catalyst for accepting her reality. This acceptance set the wheels in motion for change. She could no longer ignore reality. She had no more excuses left and decided to take responsibility for herself. This is confronting, but with each step she took, the veils of denial fell and her inner strength came to the forefront. Rosalie realised she had martyred herself to his dysfunction and had become emotionally, energetically, and physically entwined with it. Part of the recovery process is discovering who she is, knowing thyself. Her past has a lot to teach her. As she recognises her cyclic patterns of behaviour, beliefs and internal dialogue, she'll heal the wounds. As she acknowledges her original intent to be in a loving relationship and how it differed from his, which was to possess and demoralise her, she'll stop blaming herself. When our actions or the actions of others have caused pain and dispirited us, it is difficult to come to terms with the motives fueling these hurtful actions. Recovering from painful experiences requires us to remove all false filters and desired illusions that shield us from acknowledging the truth. As Rosalie accepts the reasons behind Fletcher's behaviour and acknowledges it had nothing to do with who she is, she'll no longer allow him or her past to define her worth. As she comes to terms with the motives behind her decisions, she'll embrace the value of truthfulness and develop an honest relationship with herself. The consequences have played out and will possibly reverberate throughout her life. However, now she has the opportunity to deal with her reality truthfully and accept the journey of self-discovery is ongoing. Self-responsibility enables us to honestly explore reality. Accepting reality is how we learn, grow, and heal.